welcome to Stoic Origin. What if the last thing she reads tonight isn't just a text, but a feeling she can't shake? Not excitement, not neediness, control. Most men think a goodnight text is a formality, a habit, a weak attempt to stay relevant before sleep steals the moment. And that's exactly why they're forgotten by morning. Stoicism teaches a brutal truth most people avoid. Whoever controls emotion without chasing it holds the power. Tonight, you're not sending words, you're leaving a presence behind. Here's the tension most men never resolve. They want to be desired, but they text like they're asking for permission. They want mystery, but they explain too much. They want to be unforgettable, but they show up predictable. And predictability is emotional death. A Stoic doesn't beg for attention. He places a thought and walks away, because the mind hates unfinished stories. Let me ask you something. Have you ever laid in bed replaying something someone said, not because it was loud, but because it was calm, certain, unbothered? That's the energy you're about to learn. Not manipulation, mastery. Tonight we start with message 1, and it's deceptively simple. Most guys say, good night safe, forgettable, dead on arrival. A Stoic says, sleep well, the night's quiet, but your mind won't be. Pause. You're not asking her to think about you. You're not declaring anything. You're planting a suggestion. The human brain is wired to resist commands but obey implications. That single line creates a subtle tension. Why won't her mind be quiet? What does he know that I don't? And here's the Stoic principle behind it. You state reality without attachment to outcome. You don't wait for a response. You don't follow up. You let silence do the heavy lifting. Because silence, when used correctly, is confidence amplified. Now message 2 goes deeper. This is where most men mess up and overinvest emotionally. They try to sound sweet. They overshare. They give reassurance she didn't ask for. A Stoic never leaks emotional energy. Instead, you send this, rest. Tomorrow rewards people who know when to stop trying. Read that again. You're not talking about her. You're not talking about you. You're speaking from principle. And principles feel grounded, masculine, rare. This message flips the dynamic. You're not chasing the moment. You're ending it on your terms. Psychologically, this triggers something powerful. Her subconscious associates you with calm authority, with emotional leadership. She starts to wonder, why does this guy feel different? Why doesn't he try so hard? Why does his presence feel steady? That's Stoicism in action. You're not creating excitement. You're creating gravity. Here's what most people never realize. At night, defenses are down. The ego is quiet. The mind is vulnerable. Whatever emotion you leave her with before sleep doesn't fade. It echoes. And right now you're echoing restraint, confidence without demand, interest without pressure. But this is just the surface, because the next message doesn't just linger, it challenges her identity. And once you touch identity, you don't get forgotten. Not easily. Not ever. Here's where things shift. Because attraction doesn't deepen through comfort, it sharpens through contrast. A Stoic understands this. Desire grows when certainty meets restraint. So let's talk about message 3. This one separates men who chase attention from men who command it without asking. Most guys text something emotional here. They compliment, they reassure, they try to lock in validation before sleep. That instinct kills intrigue. Instead, you send, sleep easy. Discipline looks good on people who have it. Notice what you didn't do. You didn't say she has discipline. You didn't say you admire her. You didn't lean forward emotionally. You spoke in truths, and truths force self-reflection. Now her mind starts working. Does he mean me? Does he see something in me? Is he testing something? That quiet uncertainty creates pull. Stoicism isn't cold. It's controlled warmth. You don't spoon-feed validation. You let her reach for it internally. That's why this message stays with her. Because the strongest emotions aren't given, they're discovered. Now let's escalate. Message 4 is where tension becomes personal. This is where most men would either flirt too hard or retreat too far. A Stoic walks the line. You send, night brings clarity. Some people wake up changed, others stay the same. Stop right there. You just introduced a fork in the road. You didn't say what kind of person she is. You didn't say where you stand. But her brain hates unresolved identity questions. She'll replay the line. She'll wonder which side she's on and whether you already know. This works because Stoicism isn't about chasing desire. It's about letting desire collide with self-awareness. You're not seducing her body yet. You're engaging her standards. And here's the critical mistake most men make right after sending something powerful like this. They wait. They stare at the screen. They hope for a response. A Stoic doesn't hover. You send the message and you disappear. Not to play games, but because your life isn't paused waiting for attention. That absence becomes loud. Now let's talk about what's really happening psychologically. At night, the brain seeks emotional patterns. It replays conversations. It looks for meaning. And what you're doing is rare. You're not entertaining her. You're positioning yourself as a man with internal order. Women don't crave chaos. They crave a man who isn't ruled by it. Now we move into message 5. This one is dangerous if you don't understand Stoicism. Used wrong, it sounds arrogant. Used correctly, it sounds inevitable. You send, "Get some rest. Tomorrow favors the composed." Simple, clean, controlled. You're not bragging. You're not hinting at dominance. You're stating alignment with virtue. And virtue is magnetic. This message does something subtle but powerful. It frames you as someone who operates above emotional noise. She begins to associate you with stability, with leadership, with emotional safety that doesn't smother. That's the paradox. The man who doesn't chase comfort becomes the source of it. Now here's the turning point. Everything up to now has built calm tension. But there's one final message left. And this one changes how she remembers you, because memory isn't built on intensity alone, it's built on meaning. And the final message doesn't chase her thoughts, it gives her something to carry into sleep. Something quiet, heavy, unfinished. If you send it correctly, you won't just be on her mind tonight. You'll be part of her internal dialogue. That's not attraction, that's imprinting. And once a man is imprinted, he's no longer competing. The final message is coming next. And it decides whether you fade or stay. This is where everything locks in, because message 6 isn't clever, it isn't flashy, it doesn't try to impress, it lands. And Stoicism teaches this above all. The strongest statements don't demand attention, they assume it. Most men end the night trying to be remembered. A Stoic ends the night at peace with being remembered. Here's the final message. Good night. Some thoughts deserve rest. Others wake us up when the timing's right. That's it. No emoji, no explanation, no follow-up. You've just done something most men never do. You gave her permission not to resolve the feeling, and the mind hates unfinished emotional loops. Now let's break down why this works so deeply. You didn't say she should think about you. You didn't say you'll text tomorrow. You didn't promise anything. You implied inevitability without attachment. That's Stoic power. You're not trying to control her reaction. You're controlling your presence. This message does 3 things simultaneously. First, it signals emotional maturity. You're not desperate for closure. You're comfortable leaving space. Second, it reframes attraction as timing, not effort, which quietly positions you as someone who understands patience and value. Third, and this is the killer, it makes her curiosity do the work. She'll lie there thinking which thoughts deserve rest, which ones wake us up. Does he mean now or later? And here's the truth. Most dating advice will never tell you. People don't fall for intensity. They fall for consistency of character. Stoicism isn't about playing hard to get. It's about being hard to move. Throughout these 6 messages, you never chased emotion. You never leaned forward. You never asked to be chosen. You showed calm certainty, measured presence, inner order. And that's what lingers at night, because when the noise fades, what remains is character. Now a warning. If you send these messages but break frame, later double texting, explaining yourself, seeking validation, you undo everything. A Stoic text only works when backed by Stoic behavior. You don't need to follow up in the morning. You don't need to reference the message. You don't need reassurance. Let her bring it up. Let her lean in. Silence, when it's earned, speaks louder than effort ever could. This is how you stop being another notification and start being a presence, not because you demanded it, but because you deserved it. That's the difference. That's Stoicism applied to modern attraction. If this changed how you see texting, desire, and emotional control, make sure you support the channel. Like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to Stoic Origin for more lessons on discipline, confidence, and quiet power. Because the world is loud, and the calm man always stands out.